Hello, and welcome to Chapter 2 of the MedSkippers project webinar series on environmental impact reduction for professional skippers in the Mediterranean nautical charter sector, co-funded by the European Union's Maritime and Fisheries Fund. I am Luis Lozano from Dalula Marine, a small company in Spain specialized in sustainable blue economy. In this chapter, we will give a brief overview of the impact the boating sector has on the marine environment. As in other chapters, we will avoid excessive technical details because our objective is for skippers to identify the different types of impact their activities have on the sea and to offer enough leads for you to mitigate these according to where and how you work. Some slides contain a lot of information and some would be worth specific technical webinars on their own. As you will see, much depends simply on changing behavior. We can't actually recommend any specific products or companies as regards maintenance, equipment, or service providers, as these vary regionally and publicity is not our goal. Our objective is rather for you to discover what to look for and then to learn more on your own, according to your needs and interests, talking with other professionals and local suppliers or on the web. And now, a brief and general overview of the impact from shipping and boating. As you know, we now all understand there is no planet B, and that people, the sea, and the world as we know it depend on us doing things better. Shipping has played a crucial role in globalization, covering over 90% of all international trade. It has also been crucial to increase our knowledge of the seas, fostering exploration and research at a cost. Heavy maritime fuels produce atmospheric pollution in the form of nitrogen and sulfur oxides and greenhouse gases, and marine pollution in the form of fuel spills, litter and chemicals, released both from ships and ports and from the rest of infrastructures linked to maritime industries, which deeply affect coastal and marine ecosystems all along the world's shipping lanes. Important in this context are the International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution from Ships, the London Convention on the Prevention of Marine Pollution by Dumping of Wastes and Other Matter, and the Barcelona Convention for the Protection of the Marine Environment in the Mediterranean. These regulate fuels and emissions, dumping, port reception facilities, preparedness and response against accidents, and the use of biocides, or end-of-life management, for example. However, these global regulations apply only to larger vessels above 24 meters or 200 tons, and therefore do not apply to the vast majority of boating, over 95% of which are boats smaller than 24 meters. Impact reduction by the nautical sector and skippers depends therefore on voluntary efforts. Other important sources of impact at Mediterranean level connected to the nautical sector along value chains are building and food production in the form of urban sprawl, coastal protection, ports and marinas, sewage, excess nutrients, plastics. For example, these cumulative pressures, also including those from fishing, aquaculture, and offshore industries, have resulted in habitat destruction, reduced biodiversity, and changing marine dynamics, now all exacerbated by climate change. The Mediterranean is the #1 tourism destination in the world, also home to almost 400 million people, and an important biodiversity hotspot, as almost 1/3 of all its species are only found here. However, the Mediterranean is cut by some of the denser shipping lanes in the world and concentrates around 70% of the world's charter activity, just a fraction of the more than 200 million visitors that visit it every year. Tourism is actually the region's main source of revenue, and its sustainability and environmental impact are thus one of the most important challenges ahead. Despite dependence on good environmental status, cumulative impact and regional asymmetries continue to threaten the health of marine ecosystems here, and emblematic species such as seals, sharks, cetaceans, and turtles keep disappearing, as well as hundreds of other smaller, lesser-known species. Global warming, habitat regression, plastic pollution, demographic growth, and invasive species all contribute to further stress its ability to regulate climate and to provide critical environmental services. For these reasons, and with the ambition of protecting at least 10% of EU marine areas, a large network of marine Natura 2000 and marine protected areas has been created in the northern Mediterranean. However, these areas have very different degrees of real protection, and many are just paper reserves with no budget for management or surveillance. Not coincidentally, most are also top nautical destinations attracting increasing numbers of visitors. Because sustainable management requires sustainable sources of income and professional stewardship, and because the objective is to increase marine protection to around 30% of the seas, the nautical sector must play an important role to ensure effective protection of our coastal ecosystems. This map, created by the Faros for NPA's Interreg project with data from MMOTNet, refers to satellite tracking of large recreational vessels above 24 meters. But it also illustrates well the distribution of the remaining 95% of recreational vessels, smaller and not equipped with automatic satellite tracking. In the EU, there are at least 60,000 charter boats that generate around 6 billion euros per year. Around half of all these boats and jobs are in the Mediterranean, concentrated in the northwestern basin and also expanding towards Croatia, Greece, and Turkey. These boats find berth in approximately 1,000 marinas built along the EU Mediterranean shore, and so the impact of the boating sector on the economy, the landscape, and the environment is well visible to locals and visitors alike. Starting with the building of marinas and the seasonal stress on infrastructures, services, and supply chains, all challenge the carrying capacity of small destinations competing for space, water, energy, and waste management, but also investment. Impact also comes in the form of noise and visual impact, particularly from motorboats, jet skis, and other nautical toys, but also from accessibility to and vessel density in vulnerable ecosystems, with fuel spills, chemical and organic pollution, mass mooring and anchoring, and noise and accidents from propellers, which can also cause sediment resuspension and turbidity in shallow areas, and injure small animals that bask near the surface. This impact can be reduced by the more than 100,000 professional skippers in the EU, that is, you. This is fundamental from a professional ethics point of view, but also from an economic, and growth in the sector is well above average. Consumers are increasingly well informed and expect more sustainable practice. Although this was calculated before COVID, the nautical sector was estimated to grow by 7% yearly up to 2026, when it might have doubled in size. For those of you wanting to work in the sector, other important trends are the transforming role of online platforms, where people actively seek greener alternatives, and an increasing demand for professional skippers, as half of all charters bookings now include skippers or crew. This includes a specific demand for many more women skippers. Other trends are shorter rentals, with an important growth in day charters, and considering charters as a platform to do a variety of other things beyond navigation, including higher expectations as regards the pivotal roles of skippers as guides and other knowledge and skills to offer memorable experiences as part of integrated packages and sustainable land and sea-based activities. And that is all for now. We hope you have found this short webinar worthwhile and useful to actively engage in protecting the Mediterranean as a professional skipper. Please watch the remaining chapters and don't hesitate to contact us at the email shown on the screen. Thank you very much. Goodbye and see you soon.